What is going on, guys? Today we have been revealed numbers 10 to numbers 1 in the NHL 19 top 50 players. Today we're going to be going over them. We're going to be reviewing them. Again, giving you my personal thoughts on said players being ranked, and I'd like to hear what you guys are thinking about it as well. Let's do this, though. Coming in at number 10 is Steven Stamkos, a 91 overall. Kucherov carried him. I'm kidding. It is crazy, though, how Kucherov's 100-point season just makes Stamkos' 80-point season look like an absolute joke. But it's not. Kucherov, Stamkos, Kucherov. However you want to pair them together. Stamkos is a very talented player. Tampa is a very talented team. They're going to be a very talented team for years to come. Number 9, Evgeny Malkin. Are we allowed to say Malkin's underrated? Is that possible for a guy that is constantly in the top 10 to be called underrated? I honestly don't think there's a guy you can respect more in the league than Gino. How many people do you know would be willing to go out there playing on the second line in the shadows of the best player on the planet for the past decade? Never complains, just goes out there, goes about business, and rakes. And we most certainly can say Malkin is underrated because I just took a look at the NHL top 50 ratings from last season, and Malkin was a 92 overall and ranked number 4 in the top 50. So Malkin somehow got a downgrade in a year where if he plays all 82 games, he gives McDavid a pretty good run for his money for the most points in the league this season. And Malkin is one of the very, very few players you'll come across who has averaged a point per game or more in every single season of his career, except for the one season where there was the NHL lockout. Simply incredible. How many years this guy's been in the league? It's crazy the consistency he's had. Injuries, no injuries. He's always putting up a point per game. Then we've seen Patrick Kane come in at number 8 at a 91 overall. Victor Hedman was number 7 at a 91 overall. And then Nikita Kucherov, again, number 6 at a 91 overall. And as much as I love Kucherov and the rest of these guys are phenomenal athletes, I do believe Malkin did nothing at all wrong to say, hey, you deserve a downgrade on this list this year. No more number 4, but number 9 for you. Honestly, I feel like you should be higher on the list. Personal opinion, again, like what you guys are thinking on that one. But speaking of downgrades, and speaking of opinions, and guys who may or may not have received a downgrade that should have received a downgrade, the Carey Price story. 5th overall, 92 overall Carey Price. Just no. No. Let me clear this up real quick for you guys. I would be crazy to think Price wasn't the best goalie on the planet for the prior 4 seasons leading up to this most recent one. Price very well could get right back into that form next season, being the best goalie in the league, and I think a lot of people misunderstand me when I say something negative about their favorite team's players, such as Price. So I just wanted to clear that up real quick. I have nothing against Price. This is just a strict ratings analysis type video, I guess, if it's what you'd like to call it. I don't really know what else you want to call it. Carey Price carried the Canadiens for those 4 seasons. Minus the season he missed the majority of the season due to injury. That same season was the only time, not so coincidentally, they missed the playoffs in those 4 seasons. All that being said, there is zero bit of me that feels Carey Price deserves to be the highest rated goalie in NHL 19 at all. This season, Carey Price posted a 3.11 goals against average, a 900 save percentage, and no, that is not a rounded down save percentage. 10 goalies received votes for the Vezina this year. Carey Price was not one of them. So not only was he not looked at as the best goalie, the league didn't even look at him as a top 10 goalie this year. To boot, I've seen floating around an NHL's top 10 goalies list, and I know those get photoshopped and edited and a whole bunch of stuff like that, but if I'm not mistaken, the NHL, the National Hockey League, the sport that Carey Price plays, their website insisted that Carey Price isn't even a top 10 goalie. He didn't even make their top 10 list. And I'm sure we'll hear a lot about how bad his team was around him. And I'm not trying to take shots at the Canadiens here, but they have finished the past 5 seasons within the range of 210 to 225 goals for per season over the past 5 seasons. So take that as you will. There is obviously other factors behind it, but it just shows this team has never been an offensive powerhouse, but instead Carey Price just carried the team season after season. And that's what the best goalie in the league does. And he deserves every bit of that recognition. But this season, we do not see that. The only starter who finished with a lower save percentage this season was Craig Anderson. NHL's a yearly game that's put out. Yearly. We don't see this game come out every 5 years, summing up a player's history of 5 years. It's a yearly game. So I'll always stand beside the idea that if we're getting a new game every year, there really isn't a good reason to why the ratings shouldn't heavily reflect a player's most recent season. I understand taking seasons prior to that as well, but it should most heavily be weighted from their most recent season. And I've seen many frustrated viewers who are mad because their guy didn't get a high enough rating this year. Well, this is why for the most part. The weight of players' most recent season isn't high enough. When there's only been 6 100-point seasons out of skaters in the past 5 seasons total, there is zero reason to why the guy doesn't deserve a top 10, top 15 spot. for dropping a 100-point season. But instead, EA gives guys a grace period year in which they give guys who were former top 10 or top 20 players pretty much a guaranteed spot in the top 20 the next season, no matter how bad they do. Because they was good before that. They're like, oh, you had a bad season, don't worry about it. And I think this is what kind of triggers a lot of people sometimes when I watch my ratings predictions videos. Like, how do you possibly rate this guy here and this guy here? It's like, that's what EA does. Like, I've watched it over year and understanding this is the same, this is textbook EA. Oh, you had a bad season, don't worry about it. You're still high overall. Or, oh, you're a young player, you had one good season. Too bad your overall is not high enough yet because you've only been in the league for 1 year. That's textbook EA. They don't look at just 1 year. It's like they have to have a 5-year template to make a player's overall higher. Unless you're a guy like Connor McDavid, they can usually figure him out on their own. Which is absolutely fine if we're talking about a guy being a Hall of Famer, a guy NHL, ranking the best players in the league the next season. But in a video game where player ratings are updated throughout the year and the game comes out yearly, it should reflect from the most recent season, not project how the player is going to do the season after that or the season coming up, but it should reflect how they played the season before. That's why there's roster updates, right? I firmly believe there's a great chance this season Price comes out there and he lights it up. It might be 2 months into the season, he's at that elite form once again. In that event, you bump him back up to that rating reflecting him being the best goalie in the league. But to just gift him that overall before he even proves that is crazy. Not to mention how unfair it is to players who did have a great season. Hellebuyck didn't even crack the top 50. And he was the 3rd best goalie in the league this season. That was crazy. Rene was the best goalie in the league this season. And EA just decided he wasn't even a top 5 goalie in the league according to their ratings. How's that fair? How's that even logically possible? It just doesn't make sense to me at all. And it all comes back to EA looking at how guys played years ago instead of last year. Being the top player year after year after year in the sports world is a very, very tough task. And at any moment, a player can just lose it. Go from being an elite player to just sliding down to a middle of the pack guy or falling off the face of the mat. That's the craziness of sports. Entitled. No one is entitled to anything. I've really grown to like that word. Price is not entitled to be the highest rated goalie in the league because he was the best goalie in the league 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. He was not the best goalie in the league last year. That's the bottom line. We're looking from last year to next year in a yearly game. End rant. Sorry, Carey Price. Sorry, Montreal. But I don't believe it belongs on the top 10, anywhere close to it. Number 4, Drew Doughty. We hit the nail on the head on naming Drew Doughty as the #1 demon in our predictions video, and I'm happy to see the LA King up here on the list. Number 3, Alex Ovechkin, the 92 overall Ovechkin. Ovi, what a season. I haven't had an update in a while, but I'm assuming Ovi's still out there, hasn't slept, still partying with the cup. Not sure. Somebody can update me on that one. Ovi's place on this list is next to perfect on this list, in my opinion. To have the season he did, and just from a hockey fan standpoint, if he would have been much lower on this list, I'm pretty sure the hockey universe is going to riot. 92 is perfect, though, because I think everyone's understanding of, oh, Crosby and McDavid are above him. Completely understand it, right? Well, maybe they're above him. No spoilers. We haven't really seen yet. Might be Yager. You never know with EA. Nah, just kidding. Sidney Crosby's coming in at number 2 at a 93 overall, and number 1 is indeed Connor McDavid. Even more noteworthy here is the fact that McDavid is a 94 overall, and it appears EA's officially passed the torch to Connor McDavid as the best player in the game. If you remember last season, McDavid was number 1, but him and Crosby shared the same overall. This year, McDavid's all up here alone. I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on this one. I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts in the top 10. As always, though, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.